I'm trying to think about all kinds of experiences I've had of being outdoors in a storm. What the overall feeling of that was, and what the colors were, and the textures of the water or the leaves, you name it, just to try and keep that getting channeled somehow into the actual artwork. When people ask me what I do, I tell them I'm an illustrator. Way against the right side of the whole spread. Imagine, the book is going to be like this. It's kind of like saying I'm a fireman or I'm a policeman. People get it. And you open it up and it's like, whoa, all this, the words are here and just everything is pushing. Even though it sounds very concise being an illustrator, there's lots of different ways to be an illustrator. Like this way, you got the cattails marching along, and then these poor birds just like protecting each other almost. Today you're gonna look over my shoulder and make me work harder to paint the illustrations for Over in the Wetlands. So I'll work on 2 of those paintings, and just for fun I'll show you some of the process of how decisions are made, how sketches are made to actually develop a children's book. Using kind of a burnt umber mixed with God knows what, greens and sienna and other colors in there. It's really just, it doesn't really matter at this point. This is where the philosophy of art comes in, so it's like, don't be afraid to screw up. These are common egrets. They have black legs, so here we go. This is the middle bird, so you just really have to kind of just go for it. How's the bird gonna stand otherwise, right? See what this gives us. Paintings are the fun part of making books. It's all fun, but paintings are kind of the your moment in the spotlight, so to speak. I'm working on another story. I just got the manuscript a few days ago, and in this case, I'm doing some preliminary work on a new book. It's about a baby owl who just goes out flying one night and sees stuff, and then he goes back home, and he snuggles back with Mom and Dad, and that's the end of the story. But right now, we're just worried about getting down some ideas and maybe exploring the character a little bit. You can see that he's got the wanderlust. He wants to check these sparkling stars out. And then we turn the page of the book, and here we are. Very quickly he's on the move, and then boom, he's flying. By the 3rd spread, this owl is flying. So there's a lot of things we want to try to show there. The absolute giddiness of it, the mischievousness of it, the total daredevil quality in this little guy who we're rooting for from the very beginnings. Everybody loves an owl. They're sort of like kittens in a way, the kittens of the bird world. The task ahead of me now, once I've got my sketches kind of cooking, kind of figured out, is I want to see how they look in a digital dummy. It's so easy to just stop and start on something else when you're not sure, but other times you just have to power through it. It's not rocket science. It's more like boxing, probably. You just have to keep sparring and discovering what you want to say. And then it's all done, and no one calls back, so it must be okay. So it's nice. Once you've committed to making art every day, it changes the way you see the world. It changes the way people see you. And then there's all sort of the research that you get to do sometimes. You go to the library, you go to zoos, you go to museums, and you draw stuff. But more than anything, I think what it's about is that art gives you a way of seeing the world. Life is pretty cool, but it's all around us, and the artist's job is to zero in on some part of it and magnify it. And then show that to other people and let them kind of feel the joy. Anything that enhances living, I think, is art exists in the first place.